My name is Evan Porter, and apparently, I'm the smallest man my wife has ever been with. I know this because she told her book club last Tuesday, right there at our dining room table, while I was making them coffee in the kitchen. Seriously, girls, Talia said, her voice carrying that fake whisper that's meant to be heard. I don't know what I was thinking when I married him. Look at this. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I heard the rustle of her phone being passed around, probably showing them our wedding photo. The same photo that used to sit on our mantel before it mysteriously disappeared last month. "Oh my God, Talia," came Jenna's voice, my wife's best friend since college. "He looks like he's 12 in this picture." "That's what I'm saying," Talia laughed. "And trust me, the rest of him matches the height." The coffee mug I was holding slipped from my fingers, shattering against the kitchen floor. The conversation stopped immediately. "Everything okay in there, honey?" Talia called out, her voice suddenly sweet and concerned. "Just perfect," I replied, grabbing a towel to clean up the mess. "Coffee's ready." I walked into the dining room with the tray, setting it down carefully in front of the four women. Talia, Jenna, Danny, and Rebecca, my wife's inner circle of gossip and judgment. They all looked at me with these weird smiles, like they were sharing some inside joke. "Thanks, Evan," Talia said, not meeting my eyes. "You're such a good little helper." Little. There was that word again. "No problem," I said, forcing a smile. "I'll just be upstairs if you need anything else." As I walked away, I heard Jenna whisper, "God, he's even smaller than I remembered." I stopped at the top of the stairs, listening. "I've been thinking about making some changes," Talia said. "You know, upgrading certain aspects of my life." "About time," Danny chimed in. "You deserve so much better." "There's this trainer at my gym," Talia continued. "Colton. He's everything Evan isn't. Tall, muscular, confident, and let's just say he knows how to make a woman feel appreciated." I gripped the banister so hard my knuckles went white. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" Rebecca asked. "I'm saying I've been getting some extra personal training sessions, if you know what I mean." They all erupted in giggles like a bunch of teenagers. I walked into my home office and closed the door, sat down at my computer and stared at the screen for a long time. 15 years of marriage. 15 years of being the reliable husband, the steady provider, the guy who remembered anniversaries and fixed the garbage disposal and never complained when she spent $300 on a purse. And this is what I got in return. I opened my laptop and started typing. As a software architect, I knew my way around technology better than most people. And if Talia thought she could humiliate me in my own house, she was about to learn that the smallest man could cast the biggest shadow. The next morning, Talia was unusually affectionate at breakfast. "I'm sorry about yesterday," she said, buttering her toast. "The girls got a little carried away with the wine." "Did they?" I asked, not looking up from my newspaper. "You know how it is when we all get together. We just talk nonsense." "Right. Nonsense." She leaned over and kissed my cheek. "I love you. You know that." "Sure you do." Something in my tone must have caught her attention because she sat back down and really looked at me. "Is everything okay? You seem different." I folded the newspaper and met her eyes. "I'm exactly the same as I've always been, Talia. Maybe that's the problem." She laughed nervously. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means maybe it's time for some changes around here." I stood up, grabbed my coffee mug, and headed for the door. "Evan, wait. What kind of changes?" I turned back to her, and for the first time in months, I smiled. Really smiled. The kind you'll never see coming. At work that morning, my friend Derek took one look at me and knew something was up. "You look like a man with a plan," he said, settling into the chair across from my desk. "And knowing you, that's either very good or very bad for someone." Derek had been my closest friend since we started working at Morrison Tech 5 years ago. He was one of the few people who knew about the problems in my marriage, though he didn't know the full extent of what happened yesterday. "Remember that private social media group Talia runs with her friends?" I asked. "The one where they post pictures of their food and complain about their husbands?" "That's the one. Want to see what they've been sharing lately?" I turned my laptop screen toward him. After the book club meeting, I'd done some digging. Talia had made the mistake of using the same password for everything, and her private group wasn't as private as she thought. Derek's face went from curious to horrified as he scrolled through the posts. "Jesus, Evan, she posted your wedding photo with the caption, 'How did I even marry this guy?'" "Keep scrolling." His expression got darker. "She's talking about some trainer named Colton, in detail, very graphic detail. Now you're getting the full picture." Derek sat back in his chair. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to solve problems systematically and efficiently." That sounds ominous. I started pulling up documents on my computer. "First, I need to secure our assets. The house is in my name only. We bought it before we got married and never changed the title. I'm transferring it to a trust today." "Is that legal?" "Perfectly legal. It's my house." "What about your joint accounts?" "Also being handled. I'm moving everything to accounts she doesn't have access to. She's got her own job, her own money. She'll be fine." Derek whistled low. "You're really doing this?" "She made her choice when she decided to humiliate me in front of her friends and cheat on me with some muscle-bound gym rat." I spent the rest of the morning making calls to lawyers and banks. By lunch, I had secured everything that mattered. The house, the cars, the savings accounts, all protected. But that was just the beginning. That afternoon, I decided to pay a visit to Talia's gym. Elite Fitness was one of those trendy places where people went more to be seen than to actually work out. I'd never been inside, but I had a feeling I'd recognize Colton when I saw him. I was right. He was exactly what I'd expected. 6'2", all muscles and swagger, with the kind of confidence that came from never being challenged. He was training a middle-aged woman on the weight machines, standing way too close and touching her arm every time he gave her instruction. I walked up to them with a friendly smile. "Excuse me, are you Colton?" He turned to me with that practiced personal trainer smile. "Yeah, that's me. Are you interested in signing up for some sessions?" "Actually, I'm Talia Porter's husband, Evan." The smile faltered for just a second. "Oh, Talia's husband. That's right. She's told me so much about you, says you've been giving her some very personal attention." The woman he was training looked between us, sensing the tension. "I think I'll take a water break," she said, hurrying away. Colton tried to recover his composure. "Talia's a great client, very dedicated." "I bet she is. Tell me, do you make it a habit of sleeping with your married clients?" His face went red. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Sure you don't." I pulled out my phone and showed him one of Talia's posts from the private group. "This is you, right? The one she describes as everything her husband isn't?" Colton's hands clenched into fists. "You need to leave, now." "Oh, I'm leaving. But first, I have a question. Do you have a girlfriend?" "What?" "It's a simple question. Are you seeing someone?" "That's none of your business." "I'll take that as a yes. What's her name? Vanessa, right? Pretty blonde, works at the marketing firm downtown?" The color drained from his face. "How do you—" "I make it my business to know things. The question is, does Vanessa know about your extracurricular activities?" I started walking toward the exit, then turned back. "Oh, and Colton, you might want to check social media later. I have a feeling it's going to be an interesting evening." I left him standing there, looking like he'd been hit by a truck. On my way home, I stopped at a coffee shop and used their Wi-Fi to create a few anonymous accounts. Then I sent Vanessa a very detailed message about her boyfriend's affair, complete with screenshots from Talia's social media posts. I also forwarded everything to the gym's management. Elite Fitness had a strict policy about trainers getting involved with clients. It was right there on their website. By the time I got home, Talia was in the kitchen making dinner. She seemed nervous, fidgeting with her phone every few minutes. "How was your day?" she asked, not quite meeting my eyes. "Productive. Very productive. How was yours?" "Fine. Just the usual." "No gym today?" She froze. "What?" "I asked if you went to the gym today. You usually go on Wednesdays." "Oh, no, I was too busy at work." I nodded and sat down at the kitchen table. "That's too bad. I was hoping you could introduce me to that trainer you're always talking about. Colton, right?" The wooden spoon she was holding clattered to the floor. "I don't know what you mean." "Sure you do. Your personal trainer. The one who's been giving you such specialized attention." She turned around slowly, and I could see the panic in her eyes. "Evan, I think we need to talk. I think you're right, but not tonight. Tonight, I think you should call Jenna and see if you can stay at her place." "What? Why?" "Because I know about Colton. I know about everything. And right now, I need some space to figure out what I'm going to do about it." She started to cry then, the fake tears she always used when she got caught doing something wrong. "It's not what you think," she sobbed. "It didn't mean anything. It meant enough for you to humiliate me in front of your friends. It meant enough for you to post about it on social media. So no, Talia, I don't think it meant nothing." My phone buzzed with a text message. I glanced at it and smiled. "Looks like Colton's girlfriend just found out about you two. She's at the gym right now, making quite a scene. Something about throwing his protein shakes at his head." Talia's face went white. "Oh God. Pack a bag, Talia. This conversation can wait until tomorrow." She stood there for a moment, looking like she wanted to argue. But something in my expression must have convinced her that now wasn't the time. 20 minutes later, she was gone. I poured myself a glass of wine and sat down at my computer. Phase 1 was complete, but I was just getting started. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from Talia. I ignored them all and went to work as usual. Derek was waiting for me with coffee and a huge grin. "Dude, you made the local gossip blog. Drama at Elite Fitness. Trainer caught in love triangle." "Already?" Apparently, this Vanessa girl didn't just throw protein shakes. She threw his gym bag, his car keys, and his lunch out into the parking lot. Then she announced to everyone in the gym exactly why she was doing it. And Elite Fitness fired him on the spot. Turns out this wasn't his first offense. I felt a surge of satisfaction. What about Talia? That's where it gets interesting. I did some checking, and it turns out your wife's been using company resources for personal social media activities, including posting those photos of you. How do you know that? Derek pulled out his phone. Because I may have sent an anonymous tip to her HR department this morning, along with screenshots of everything she posted during work hours using her work computer. I stared at him. You didn't. I did. Nobody humiliates my friend like that. At 10:30, my phone rang. It was Talia, and this time I answered. "Evan, you have to help me," she said, her voice shaking. HR called me into a meeting. They're asking about social media posts and personal photos. I don't know what to tell them. Tell them the truth. The truth? The truth will get me fired. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to humiliate your husband online. Please, Evan, I'm sorry. I'll do anything. It's too late for sorry, Talia. I hung up. An hour later, Derek appeared at my desk again. Your wife just got escorted out of her building by security. Fired? Fired. Apparently, using company resources to share intimate photos of your spouse violates about 6 different policies. I should have felt bad. Part of me did. But a bigger part of me felt vindicated. That afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. Is this Evan Porter? Who's asking? This is Colton Brewer. We need to talk. I don't think we do. You ruined my life, man. I lost my job, my girlfriend, everything. You ruined your own life when you decided to sleep with my wife. Meet me at the Starbucks on 5th Street in an hour, or I'm coming to your house. Something in his tone made me take the threat seriously. Fine, 1 hour. I called Derek and asked him to come with me, just in case. Colton was waiting for us when we arrived, sitting in the corner looking like he hadn't slept. His usual gym clothes had been replaced by a wrinkled t-shirt and jeans. You brought backup? He said when he saw Derek. I brought a witness. What do you want? I want you to fix this. Call Vanessa. Tell her it was all a misunderstanding. I laughed. A misunderstanding? You were sleeping with my wife. It wasn't serious. It was just physical. Oh, well, that makes it so much better. Derek leaned forward. Did you just admit to having an affair with his wife? Colton realized his mistake too late. I didn't mean... Because that sounded like a confession to me. Derek continued, pulling out his phone. Good thing I was recording this conversation. You can't do that. Actually, I can. This is a one-party consent state. Colton stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. This isn't over. Yes, it is, I said calmly. You have no job, no girlfriend, and no leverage. If I were you, I'd start looking for a new town to live in. He stormed out, leaving Derek and me sitting there. Think he'll cause more trouble? Derek asked. Probably, but I'm ready for him. That evening, I finally went home to face Talia. She was waiting for me in the living room, still wearing the same clothes from yesterday. I lost my job, she said as soon as I walked in. I heard. This is all your fault. I set down my briefcase and looked at her. My fault? I wasn't the one cheating. You didn't have to destroy my career over it. You destroyed your own career when you decided to post intimate photos of me on social media using your work computer. She started crying again, but this time the tears looked real. What am I supposed to do now? I can't afford my car payments without my job. I can't afford anything. You'll figure it out. You're a smart woman. Evan, please. Can't we work this out? I made a mistake, but we can fix this. I sat down across from her. Do you love him? What? Colton, do you love him? She was quiet for a long moment. No. Then why? Because he made me feel wanted, desired. When was the last time you looked at me like you couldn't wait to get me alone? When was the last time you gave me a reason to? She flinched like I'd slapped her. You want to know the truth, Talia? You stopped being my wife months ago. You became my roommate, my critic, my burden. So forgive me if I don't feel like the villain in this story. So what happens now? Now you find somewhere else to live. I've already started the divorce proceedings. You can't just throw me out. This is my home too. Actually, it's not. The house is in my name only, and as of yesterday, it's in a trust. You have no legal claim to it. Her mouth fell open. You planned this. I prepared for this. There's a difference. She stood up, anger replacing the tears. You think you're so smart, don't you? You think you've won. I think I've protected myself from someone who clearly doesn't respect me or our marriage. Fine, but don't think this is over. I have friends, Evan, people who care about me. You mean Jenna and Danny, the same friends who encouraged you to cheat on me? Good luck with that. As if on cue, her phone rang. She looked at the caller ID and smiled triumphantly. It's Jenna. She's probably calling to see how I'm doing. She answered the phone. Jenna, thank God. I really need... I watched her face change as she listened to whatever Jenna was saying. What do you mean you can't get involved? I'm your best friend. More listening. Since when do you care what people think? Her voice was getting higher, more desperate. Jenna, please. I have nowhere else to go. The call ended abruptly. Talia stared at her phone in disbelief. Let me guess, I said. Your friends don't want to be associated with the scandal. She said her husband doesn't want me staying there, that it would look bad. Funny how quickly people distance themselves when things get messy. She tried calling Danny next, with the same result. Then Rebecca. By the time she was done, she was crying again. Where am I supposed to go? I suggest you call your parents. I can't call my parents. They'll ask too many questions. Then I guess you'll have to tell them the truth. I stood up and headed for the stairs. Pack your things, Talia. I want you gone by tomorrow morning. Evan, wait. I stopped, but didn't turn around. I really am sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I am. I know you are. You're sorry you got caught. The next morning, Talia was gone. She'd left a note saying she was staying at her parents' house in the suburbs and that she'd be back for the rest of her things later. I crumpled up the note and threw it away. Then I called a locksmith. At work, Derek filled me in on the latest developments. Your wife's little scandal is all over social media now. Someone recorded Vanessa's scene at the gym and posted it on TikTok. It's got over 50,000 views. Jesus. It gets better. Turns out Colton was also seeing at least 2 other clients at the gym. Their husbands are not happy. How do you know all this? I may have created a few fake accounts to keep tabs on the situation. It's like watching a soap opera unfold in real time. I spent the morning trying to focus on work, but my phone kept buzzing with calls from unknown numbers. Reporters, I realized. The story had gotten bigger than I'd expected. Around lunchtime, I got a call from Jenna. Evan, we need to talk. Do we? Look, I know things got out of hand, but Talia is my friend. She's devastated. She should be. You didn't have to destroy her entire life over one mistake. One mistake? Jenna, she was cheating on me for months. She humiliated me in front of you and your friends. She posted intimate photos of me online. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern of behavior. She's staying at her parents' house. Her mother is furious. Her father won't even speak to her. That's not my problem anymore. Have some compassion, Evan. She lost everything. She chose to risk everything. There's a difference. Jenna was quiet for a moment. Then, you know what? I never liked you anyway. You were always too controlling, too uptight. Talia deserved better. If that's how you feel, then I'm sure you'll be happy to help her through this difficult time. We can't. It's too complicated. Right. It's only complicated when you might actually have to do something to help. I hung up on her. That afternoon, I decided to take care of some unfinished business. I drove to Talia's parents' house in my pickup truck, loaded with all of her remaining belongings. The Cranes lived in one of those perfect suburban neighborhoods where everyone knew everyone else's business. I parked in their driveway and started unloading boxes onto their perfectly manicured lawn. Mrs. Crane came out of the house as I was stacking the 3rd box. Evan, what are you doing? Returning Talia's things. She said she'd come back for them, but I figured I'd save her the trip. You can't just dump her belongings on our lawn. They're not my belongings anymore. Mr. Crane appeared behind his wife, his face red with anger. This is completely inappropriate, Evan. You know what's inappropriate, Mr. Crane? Your daughter sleeping with her personal trainer while she's married to me. Several neighbors had come out to watch the show. I raised my voice slightly. But don't worry, I'm sure the whole neighborhood will help you carry everything inside. Mrs. Crane looked mortified. Please keep your voice down. Why? Are you embarrassed? Imagine how I felt when I found out my wife was broadcasting the intimate details of our marriage to her book club. I finished unloading the truck and got back in. Tell Talia that her lawyer can contact my lawyer about the divorce proceedings. And thank you for raising such a wonderful daughter. I drove away, leaving them standing there surrounded by boxes while their neighbors whispered and pointed. That evening, Derek called me at home. Dude, you're trending on Twitter. What? Someone filmed you dropping off your wife's stuff and posted it with the caption, "Husband of the Year delivers cheating wife's belongings to her parents." It's got like 100,000 retweets. I groaned. This is getting out of hand. Are you kidding? This is amazing. You're like a folk hero for betrayed husbands everywhere. I just wanted to get back at Talia, not become internet famous. Well, mission accomplished on both fronts. The next few days were a blur of phone calls from reporters, friend requests on social media, and messages from strangers telling me their own stories of infidelity and revenge. But the call that surprised me the most came from Vanessa, Colton's ex-girlfriend. "Hi, is this Evan Porter?" "Yes." "This is Vanessa Martinez. I wanted to thank you for telling me about Colton." "Oh, you're welcome, I guess. I also wanted to let you know that I found out he was cheating on me with at least 3 other women besides your wife. I'm sorry to hear that." "Don't be. I'm better off without him. But I thought you should know that he's been telling people he's going to get back at you for ruining his life." "What kind of getting back?" "I don't know exactly, but he's been drinking a lot and making threats. I thought you should be warned. Thanks for the heads up. Also, there's something else you should know. One of the other women he was seeing, it was Jenna, your wife's friend." I nearly dropped the phone. "What?" "Jenna Morrison. She was one of his clients too. They've been sleeping together for about 6 months. Suddenly, everything made sense. Jenna's defensive attitude, her anger at me for exposing Colton, her refusal to help Talia despite claiming to be her best friend. "Are you sure?" "I have photos. He was stupid enough to keep pictures on his phone. I can send them to you if you want." "Please do." 20 minutes later, I had a folder full of photos showing Jenna and Colton in various compromising positions, including some taken at what looked like Jenna's house. I called Derek immediately. "You're not going to believe this. Try me." Jenna was sleeping with Colton too. Derek whistled. "Holy shit, does Talia know?" "I doubt it, but she's about to find out." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to give Talia a choice. She can hear it from me, or she can find out when I post these photos online. That's diabolical. That's justice." I called Talia's cell phone. She answered on the first ring. "Evan, we need to meet. There's something you need to know about Jenna." "What about her?" "Not over the phone. Can you meet me at the coffee shop on Main Street in an hour?" "I don't know if that's a good idea." "Trust me, Talia. You want to hear this." An hour later, we were sitting across from each other in a corner booth. Talia looked terrible. Her hair was unwashed, she had dark circles under her eyes, and she'd lost weight. "What's this about?" she asked. I slid my phone across the table, showing her the photos Vanessa had sent me. "Your best friend has been sleeping with Colton for 6 months." Talia's face went white as she scrolled through the images. "This can't be real." "It's real. Vanessa sent them to me. Apparently Colton was quite the collector. But Jenna encouraged me to. She said I deserved better. She was playing you, Talia. She wanted you to have an affair so she could keep seeing Colton without feeling guilty about it." Talia started crying, but this time I felt no satisfaction in her tears. She was my best friend, my maid of honor. How could she do this to me? "The same way you could cheat on your husband, I guess." She looked up at me with red, swollen eyes. "I deserved that." "Yes, you did." We sat in silence for a few minutes while she processed everything. "What are you going to do with these photos?" she finally asked. "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you want to handle this privately or publicly." "What do you mean?" "I mean you can confront Jenna yourself, or I can post these online and let the internet handle it." Talia wiped her eyes with a napkin. "If you post these, it'll destroy her marriage." She should have thought about that before she manipulated you into having an affair. Her kids will see them eventually, her husband, her parents. Again, not my problem. Talia was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Give me 24 hours. "To do what?" To talk to her first, to give her a chance to confess to her husband before this gets out. I considered it. Fine, 24 hours, but if she doesn't come clean by then, I'm posting everything. Thank you. As I got up to leave, Talia grabbed my arm. Evan? Yeah? I really am sorry about everything. I know it doesn't matter now, but I need you to know that. It does matter, Talia. It doesn't change anything, but it matters. I left her sitting there, staring at the photos on my phone, finally understanding the full scope of how she'd been betrayed by the person she trusted most. 24 hours later, I got a text from her. She denied everything and called me crazy. Do what you want with the photos. So I did. The photos went viral within hours. By the next morning, Jenna's husband had filed for divorce, and she'd been fired from her job at the marketing firm where Vanessa worked. Apparently, Vanessa had made sure everyone there knew exactly what kind of person Jenna was. But I wasn't done yet. Derek met me for lunch that day with a concerned expression. I think you need to be careful, man. This thing is getting bigger than you expected. What do you mean? I mean you've destroyed 4 people's lives in the span of 2 weeks. Talia, Colton, Jenna, and now Jenna's husband and kids are caught in the crossfire. I didn't destroy anything. I just exposed what was already there. Maybe. But Colton's been making some serious threats, and Jenna's been calling around trying to get people to turn against you. Let them try. I'm serious, Evan. You might want to consider backing off before this escalates any further. But it was too late for backing off. That afternoon, I got a call from my lawyer. Evan, we have a problem. Talia's filed a countersuit claiming you've been harassing her and her friends online. That's ridiculous. She's also claiming you stole marital assets by moving the money and transferring the house to a trust. Everything I did was legal. I know that, and you know that, but it's going to make the divorce more complicated. How complicated? She's asking for alimony, half of your retirement account, and she wants to force you to sell the house. Can she do that? She can try. We'll fight it, but it's going to cost you. How much? Probably more than you want to spend. I hung up feeling frustrated. Just when I thought I had everything under control, Talia was fighting back. That evening, I was working late in my home office when I heard a car pull into my driveway. I looked out the window and saw Colton getting out of a beat-up Honda Civic. I called Derek immediately. Colton's here. At your house? Yeah, and he doesn't look happy. Call the police. And tell them what? That my wife's ex-lover is in my driveway? Tell them you feel threatened. Before I could respond, Colton started pounding on my front door. Open up, Porter. We need to talk. I grabbed a baseball bat from my closet and went downstairs. Go away, Colton. You're trespassing. You ruined my life, you little shit. The least you can do is face me like a man. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. But first you're going to hear what I have to say. Against my better judgment, I opened the door, keeping the chain lock engaged. Say what you came to say and leave. You think you're so smart, don't you? You think you won. I think you made your own choices and now you're dealing with the consequences. I lost everything because of you. My job, my girlfriend, my apartment. I'm living in my car. You lost everything because you couldn't keep it in your pants. His face turned red with rage. Open this door and say that to my face. No. You're pathetic. No wonder your wife cheated on you. What kind of man hides behind a door? The kind who's smart enough not to assault someone on their own property. You want to see assault? He backed up a few steps, and for a moment I thought he was going to charge the door. Instead, he pulled out his phone. You see this? I've been recording this whole conversation, and tomorrow I'm going to post it online with the title, Coward Husband Afraid to Face Real Man. Go ahead. I'm sure the internet will love hearing you threaten me on my own property. We'll see who they side with. He got back in his car and drove away, but not before shouting out the window, This isn't over! I called the police anyway and filed a report. Then I called Derek back. He's gone, but he threatened to post a recording of our conversation online. What did you say? Nothing incriminating, but he's trying to make me look like a coward. Are you worried about it? Not really. Anyone who watches it will see him for what he is, a desperate loser making threats. But I was more worried than I let on. The situation was spiraling out of control, and I was starting to feel like I'd opened a door I couldn't close. The next morning, Colton made good on his threat. The video was posted on YouTube with the title, "Cheated Husband Too Scared to Face Wife's Real Man." But his plan backfired spectacularly. The comments section was brutal. Dude sounds unhinged. Why is he at this guy's house making threats? Someone call the police on this psycho. This is what desperation looks like. By noon, the video had been reported so many times that YouTube took it down. Derek called me at work, laughing. Have you seen the reaction to Colton's video? Some of it. He's getting destroyed in the comments. People are calling him a stalker and a creep. Good. But there's something else you should know. Jenna's been trying to organize some kind of intervention. What kind of intervention? She's been calling your mutual friends, trying to convince them that you've gone too far, that you're obsessed with revenge and need to be stopped. And? Most people are telling her to go to hell, but a few are starting to wonder if maybe you should ease up. Like who? Tom and Jennifer from your old neighborhood, Sarah from Talia's work, a couple of others. I felt a stab of betrayal. These were people I'd considered friends. They think I'm the bad guy in this? They think everyone's the bad guy at this point. They just want the drama to stop. The drama stops when people stop betraying each other. I know, man. I'm on your side. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. That afternoon, I got a call from Tom Richardson, a guy I'd known for 10 years. Evan, we need to talk. About what? About this situation with Talia. It's gotten out of hand. Has it? Come on, man. You've destroyed her life, her friend's life, and now you're posting revenge porn online. First of all, those weren't my photos. Second, I didn't post revenge porn. I posted evidence of adultery. It's the same thing. No, it's not. Revenge porn is posting intimate photos to humiliate someone. I posted evidence of my wife's affair and her best friend's betrayal. You're splitting hairs? I'm stating facts. Tom sighed. Look, I get that you're hurt. What Talia did was wrong. But this has gone beyond getting even. You're destroying people. They destroyed themselves. Jennifer and I have decided we can't be friends with you anymore if this continues. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Tom and Jennifer had been our couple friends for years. We'd had dinner together every month, gone on vacation together, celebrated holidays together. So, you're choosing sides. We're choosing sanity. This whole thing is toxic, and we don't want to be part of it. Fine. But don't call me in 6 months when you find out Jennifer's been cheating on you with her yoga instructor. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Evan. You've become paranoid and vindictive. I've become realistic. Get help, man. Seriously. Get some therapy and try to move on with your life. He hung up. I sat at my desk for a long time staring at the phone. Was I going too far? Had I become the villain in my own story? Then I remembered Talia laughing with her friends about my size. I remembered her posting our wedding photo online with a mocking caption. I remembered Jenna manipulating her into an affair while having one of her own. No, I wasn't the villain. I was just the only one willing to hold people accountable for their actions. But I was starting to realize that accountability came with a price, and I was the one paying it. 3 weeks later, everything came to a head. I was working from home when Derek called me, his voice urgent. Evan, you need to get out of your house now. What? Why? Talia, Colton, and Jenna are on their way over. They're planning some kind of confrontation. How do you know? Because Jenna's been posting about it on social media. She's calling it Operation Truth and live streaming the whole thing. I looked out my front window and saw cars pulling up to the curb. Not just Talia's car, but several others. A small crowd was gathering on my lawn. Jesus, how many people are out there? From what I can see on the live stream, maybe 15 or 20. I grabbed my phone and started recording through the window. Talia was there, looking determined. Colton was beside her, clearly agitated. Jenna was holding up her phone, narrating for her audience. "We're here at Evan Porter's house," she was saying. "The man who has spent the last month systematically destroying the lives of everyone who dared to cross him. Today, we're going to confront him and demand that he stop this campaign of harassment." Several neighbors had come out of their houses to watch. I recognized Mrs. Peterson from next door and the Johnson family from across the street. My doorbell rang, followed immediately by loud knocking. "Evan," Talia called out. "We know you're in there. Come out and face us." I called 911. 911, what's your emergency?" "There's a group of people on my property making threats and refusing to leave." "Are you in immediate danger?" "I don't know. There are about 20 people on my front lawn, and at least one of them has made threats against me before. We'll send a unit right away." The knocking got louder. "Evan Porter." Jenna's voice carried clearly through the door. "You've hidden behind your computer long enough. Come out here and explain to everyone why you think it's okay to destroy people's lives." I could hear the crowd murmuring in agreement. Then Colton's voice. "Yeah, come out here and face me like a man. No locked doors this time." I made a decision. I grabbed my phone, made sure it was recording, and opened the front door. The crowd fell silent when they saw me. "What do you want?" I asked. Jenna stepped forward, still live streaming. "We want you to apologize for what you've done. To Talia, to me, to Colton, and to everyone else you've hurt with your vindictive behavior." "Apologize for what?" "For posting private photos online, for stalking and harassing us, for trying to destroy our lives." I looked directly into her camera. "Let me get this straight. You want me to apologize for exposing the fact that my wife was cheating on me with her personal trainer, while her best friend manipulated her into the affair so she could sleep with the same guy behind her own husband's back?" The crowd shifted uncomfortably. "That's not what happened," Talia said, but her voice lacked conviction. "Isn't it? Jenna, why don't you tell everyone here when you started sleeping with Colton?" "That's none of your business. It became my business when you encouraged my wife to cheat on me as cover for your own affair." Colton stepped forward aggressively. "You need to stop talking, little man." "Or what? You'll assault me in front of 20 witnesses and a live stream?" Several people in the crowd pulled out their own phones and started recording. "I'm not afraid of you," Colton said, but he didn't come any closer. "You should be. Because unlike you, I fight with my brain, not my fists. And so far, I'm winning." "Winning?" Talia laughed bitterly. "You call this winning? You've turned yourself into a laughingstock. Everyone thinks you're pathetic." "Do they? Because from where I'm standing, I'm not the one who got fired for posting intimate photos at work. I'm not the one who lost my girlfriend for cheating. And I'm not the one whose husband filed for divorce after finding out about my affair." Jenna's face went red. "You had no right to interfere in my marriage. You had no right to interfere in mine. That's different." "How?" She couldn't answer. In the distance, I could hear sirens approaching. "Sounds like our time is up," I said. "This isn't over," Colton said. "Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet." The police cars pulled up and 2 officers got out. "What's the problem here?" the first officer asked. "These people are trespassing on my property and making threats," I said. "That's not true," Jenna protested. "We're exercising our right to free speech." "On private property," the officer pointed out. "Sir, is this your house?" "Yes, officer, and I've asked them to leave multiple times." The officer turned to the crowd. "Okay, everyone needs to move to the sidewalk. You can protest, but you can't do it on private property." "This is ridiculous," Talia said. "He's the one who's been harassing us." "Ma'am, If you have a complaint about harassment, you can file a report at the station, but right now, you need to move off this gentleman's property." The crowd reluctantly moved to the sidewalk, but they didn't disperse. The second officer approached me. "Have any of these people made specific threats against you?" "Him," I said, pointing to Colton. "He came to my house 3 weeks ago and made verbal threats. I filed a report." The officer nodded and walked over to Colton. I couldn't hear what they said, but I saw Colton's expression change from angry to worried. After a few minutes, the officers got back in their cars and left. But the crowd remained on the sidewalk, with Jenna continuing her live stream. I stayed on my front porch, watching them. "What are you waiting for?" I called out. "We're not leaving until you agree to stop this harassment campaign," Jenna replied. "Then you're going to be there for a long time." I went back inside, but I kept watching through the window. The crowd stayed for another hour before gradually dispersing. Talia, Colton, and Jenna were the last to leave. As they walked to their cars, I opened my front door one more time. "Hey, Talia." She turned around. "Next time you want to humiliate someone, make sure they don't have the skills to fight back." She flipped me off and got in her car. That night, Derek came over with pizza and beer. "Dude, you're all over social media. Jenna's live stream has been viewed like 500,000 times. What are people saying?" "Mixed reactions. Some people think you're a hero for standing up to them. Others think you're all crazy." "What do you think?" Derek was quiet for a moment. "I think you won. Talia's living with her parents, unemployed and humiliated. Colton's living in his car, blacklisted from every gym in the city. Jenna's getting divorced and lost her job. You got your revenge. But I also think it cost you more than you expected. You've lost friends, your reputation is complicated, and you've spent months of your life focused on payback instead of moving forward." He was right. I had won, but the victory felt hollow. So what do I do now? Now you let it go. You've made your point. It's time to rebuild your life. 2 days later, I got a call from my lawyer. "Good news, Evan. Talia's withdrawing her countersuit." "Why?" "Apparently, her lawyer advised her that the evidence against her is too strong. The social media posts, the affair, the misuse of company resources. It all works in your favor." "What about alimony?" "She's not asking for it anymore. She just wants the divorce finalized as quickly as possible. And the house? It's yours. She's not contesting the trust." I felt a surge of relief. It was finally over. "There is one more thing," the lawyer continued. "She wants to make a statement." "What kind of statement?" "An apology. She wants to post a public apology on social media, acknowledging that she was wrong and asking people to stop harassing her family." "What do you think?" "I think it's a good idea. It gives you both a chance to move on with dignity." "Okay. Tell her I agree." The next day, Talia posted a long message on Facebook. "I want to publicly apologize to my husband, Evan Porter, for the pain I caused him through my infidelity and my thoughtless public comments about our marriage. What I did was wrong, and I take full responsibility for my actions." Evan had every right to expose the truth about my affair, and I don't blame him for defending himself. I ask that people please stop harassing my family and allow us all to move forward with our lives. I wish Evan all the best in his future. The post got thousands of comments, mostly supportive of me, but more importantly, it felt like closure. A week later, I ran into Vanessa at the grocery store. "Hey," she said. "How are you holding up?" "Better. The divorce is almost final." "Good for you. You deserve better than what she put you through." "Thanks. How are you doing?" "Great, actually. I'm seeing someone new, a teacher, very different from Colton." "I'm glad." You know what the funny thing is? If Talia and Colton had just been honest from the beginning, none of this would have happened. If she'd asked for a divorce instead of cheating, if he'd broken up with me before starting something with her, everyone would have been better off. She was right. The betrayal was worse than the infidelity itself. People don't like to be the bad guy in their own story, I said. No, they don't. But sometimes being honest about who you are is the only way to move forward. 6 months later, my divorce was final. I kept the house, my retirement account, and my dignity. Talia moved to another state to start over. Colton disappeared entirely. Derek heard he'd moved back in with his parents in Ohio. Jenna's divorce was finalized around the same time as mine, and she lost custody of her kids. I never felt good about that part. The kids didn't deserve to suffer for their mother's mistakes. But I learned something important through the whole experience. Revenge is a dish best served with evidence. And sometimes, the best way to fight back against people who underestimate you is to show them exactly what you're capable of. I'm not the smallest man anymore. I'm the man who refused to be small.